Hey traders, I'm going to have a quick look at all the markets, including silver, gold, all the indexes, maybe a bit of oil in there as well too, VIX. We're going to look at all the markets, so let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Alright, hey traders, I want to give you a quick market update on what's actually happened last night. Nice little, or should I say just a nice little move to the high side on the Dow Jones. You can see the Dow Jones right now is still currently holding this 18,000 level. That's sort of like the line in the sand, isn't it? Now it's really interesting to see what's going on right now. So you've got pretty much a sideways day. We had that iron reversal I was talking about yesterday, and if I bring up say 3 months view, you can see pretty much pretty much a sideways day down and then up. So going based on this bar, I would expect to see a little bit more upward movement, maybe even to close this gap here, moving forward into tomorrow. But we didn't get a lot of volume there as well too. So really interesting to see that. Now guys, I wouldn't expect to see this thing rally up, and it may. But guys, it's by looking at the Dow Jones, you can actually see we've still got this lower peak, lower peak, lower peak, lower peak. I'm not about to call this, whatever, what I mean? Like right now we've got these lower peaks. Sellers are still in control, so I'm still bearish in this market. Even though we had a nice little upward move, the overall flow is still in the bearish mode, so that's where I'm going to stay. And until we start to flip back to bullish, then I'm going to be bullish, right? So that's what you do, you mold the market. For example, here we had a double top, we had this one here, we had a lower trough, came back up here. We had a peak, we had a trough, we had a breaking of resistance. So right here, guys, you would be what? You'd be bullish, right? And you can see the market actually took off. So it's just very, very, very simple analysis. So you can see this 18,000 is the line in the sand for the Dow Jones. We break below that, then it's all over red rubber. I believe it's all over red rubber right now, but we can see what's happening through there. Last time the stochastics just got up to here before we turned down. Are we likely to do that again soon? Are we likely to start doing that again now? So really interesting. The last time the market was up here and we came down, now we're actually at a much, from here to here, we're at a much lower point, but the stochastics are at a very, very similar point. So just something to take on. And I'm not saying if it is something, it's just something that I am recognizing. Moving forward into the weekly chart, guys, you can see that the Dow Jones has definitely bounced off this line here. We bounced off this line here. So that could be a bullish sign. So again, guys, we're stuck between this long-term weekly support and long-term, or this overall false breakout weekly resistance. What's going to happen? So I'm bearish right now, guys, because the short terms tell me bearish. But again, if we do get a weekly close back above 18,300, probably for me to be definitely confirmation, I want to see a close above 18,400 for me to go bullish. If that happens, then we're likely to see a race at 19,000. But right now, guys, that's not what the market is showing me. Moving on through the S&P, and the S&P is really, really interesting, similar to the Dow Jones. But look what's happening to the stochastics. Look where we are again. This was this point here with the stochastics, and then we rolled over, came back up. This is where we are now, and look where the stochastics are, getting almost back to that overbought signal. And you can see every time, the last couple of times we've gotten here, and then these points have been the turning points of that. In fact, you can actually see, I think I just spotted out a shoulder, head, shoulder, breakdown, run back up to the neckline, resistance, and now we break down. So I don't expect this to continue falling through. I expect this to hold here. We may get a little bit more upward movement here, and then I expect the market to continue down as well. And moving on to the Nasdaq. There we go, onto the Nasdaq. We can actually see the Nasdaq was actually it actually held the previous high, and now it's bounced off. So continue to move up, guys. Move up. You got the Nasdaq was up almost 1%. I think the Nasdaq is going to fall the hardest when this thing happens. I think massive moves are gonna come in the Nasdaq territory there. Moving into the VIX, guys. The VIX right now is sort of just hovering around here. Very, very, very interesting. Every time that we've gotten down here it's very interesting to see where we are right now, because every time this point here was this point here, this point here was this point here before the market moved, come back down, look where we are right now. We're back at this point through here. So I would expect to see the VIX start to spike, especially sometime through October. I think October, guys, is going to give us a 30 or something, a 30 or maybe even a more spike. I think something big is going to come out in October, and I'll talk about that in another video. But that's what I do see there, guys. Looking at the VIX and looking at the transportation average, we can still see what's happening through here. And again, looking at the peaks and troughs, guys, we have this peak up here, we have this peak here, we have this trough, we have a lower trough, and then this whole thing here could be a lower peak / head and shoulder formation. Again, you can see shoulder, head, shoulder. And then is this the right shoulder? If we start to break down, then we're going to likely to continue down to here, and then I think ultimately head down to there. And it's really interesting. You can see, guys, on this move up, we've actually had this move up from here to here, but check this out. Look how fast those stochastics are running up. So that's saying this buying move is getting exhausted. So it's getting exhausted, you can see by the stochastics, and then what is happening through there is you're getting a lower peak as well too. So does this lower peak stay a lower peak, or does it start to form a little high trough and break out? I say it's going to stay a lower peak. So that's just what I think through there. Let's go have a look at a few other markets here. Let's have a look at the Australian dollar, US dollar, then I'll get into silver and gold, and maybe look at the oil market as well too. So you can see by the Australian dollar, this has just continued to rise and rise and rise. So really, really nice movement out of through there. Look at the weekly chart here on the Australian dollar. Nice little bouncing off through here. So we got this, you got this obviously bounce here, and a bounce here. Now it's breaking up out of that level there. Nice sort of move up. Looks like the Australian dollar is trying to gain a lot of strength through there. So just checking out some other markets, nothing through there. Let's go have a look at the US dollar. And let's see if I can notice anything in particular with the US dollar. No, the only thing I can notice with the US dollar is we have been forming a really big tight triangle pattern, and we're getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And they say around about the 80% level. 75 to 80% is where we actually break out. So do we actually start to break out here? And is this whole thing through here just an overall bear flag formation? So really, really interesting to see what's happening there on the US dollar. US dollar looks actually quite weak. And if you look at this whole thing, guys, you actually can see how weak it is. In fact, if I let me bring up the monthly chart. This is the monthly chart here, guys. And I want to show you something. Look how weak this looks. So if we have a look at this overall monthly chart, we can see, look at this here. So we can see first we have this obviously downward trend. So, but also what do we have here? We have this whole level through here where you can see this whole, and again, guys, this is going back to chart reading here. And as you can see, guys, this is the way you should be reading charts. This whole thing could not close below, could not close below, could not close below, could not close below. But now look at this whole thing here. Resistance, resistance, resistance. And it's holding resistance. And you can see how it's running through there. And now what are we getting? We're now getting this sort of action where the market is actually rallying up through there. And then now we actually get a pop down. I actually think we're likely to start getting this base through there. And then I think this is likely to have a rundown back to these levels through here. So, and that might start to happen as early as October. So guys, the overall US dollar is not bullish whatsoever. There was nothing bullish about that formation. Major weakness on the monthly chart on the US dollar. Moving forward into silver and gold. Gold and silver, silver and gold. So looking at that, let's have a look at the daily chart, or quick look at the weekly chart here. Nothing's changed on the weekly chart. What I've been speaking for the last couple of weeks. We're still in this breaking out through. We're still in this nice downward sloping movement. Even a bit of sideways pattern through here. I do expect some movement to the high side though coming real soon. I was saying that we got 1, 2, 3 bars down, and I was expecting. I said that we could expect to see the market to rally out. That didn't happen. We had a nice pull down through there. But what we are getting right now, guys, is this type of action. So we're getting this type of action where if I bring up the 3-month view, we're still getting the high troughs. And this is where I'm not really worried. I'm not really worried where I'm not really worried where the market is. We have this trough here. We have a high trough here. Is this going to be a high trough? And do we start to get this sort of action rallying out from this here? If that's the case and we get a bullish breakout, then that's going to be a really, really, really strong breakout. So I wouldn't worry about the stochastics too much. They are pointing down right now, but the price action, guys, we're squeezing up into this overall tight channel. We have this channel through here, and now it's squeezing up through here as well too. We're squeezing up, squeezing up. Do we get a nice strong breakout? Or do we continue down and from there? So guys, I would say a breakout, but right now by looking at back again, going back to peaks and troughs, we have this peak, we have this almost equal peak, maybe even a slight lower peak. So we have higher troughs, lower peaks. No one's really in control of this right now. So wherever the breakout happens is likely to be the strong breakout. And if it breaks up and out, that's going to be a good strong break. If it breaks down, obviously is that going to be a false breakout or not? So because the reason why I say, you know, if it breaks out, then we're going with the overall weekly trend. But if it breaks down, then what we're seeing is we're going against the weekly trend. So therefore you got to wait to see, does it break down? If it does do that, and then do we rally back up, rally back up, and then back out again as well too? So if that did happen, that through there and then a breakout, that would be really, really bullish. So looking at that through there, silver and gold, and looking at the, let's go have a look at the oil market as well. So looking at oil here, let's go have a look at oil. Oil, guys, pretty much a nothing day with oil. You can see just basically pretty much a nothing day with. So let's have a look at the oil chart, and we can see pretty much a nothing day. Again, we're squeezing up into this triangle, this sideways pattern. We've got this long-term trend line, getting a lot of. Got this trend line coming up through there. We've got this trend line coming down through here. We are creating now these lower peak, trough. Lower trough, we've got this lower peak. Does this continue to flow down through here, or do we hold here and rally out? So obviously that's the question through there. But guys, I am not bullish or bearish on oil. If you look at my long-term charts, this is my long-term weekly line chart. And guys, don't always look at the line charts. You know, as you can see, I flip between these. Sometimes the line can give me a much better view. But guys, as you can see with my line charts, I don't look at every single little peak and trough. Sometimes I do. But when you can see here, if you squeeze this weekly chart up, you can clearly see that this overall flow is a big bullish pattern. So again, if we break above $50, guys, and this right shoulder has been taking its time, but if we do break above the 50 and close above the 50, then the next target is 70. Because that is the projection of this head and shoulder. Beautiful head and shoulder. So if we do get a break above 50, guys, to me, I'm going to be loading up on some oil. So maybe even some options and stuff on there, maybe USO options or something like that. But that's just what I look at through there. So there we go, guys. There's a bit of an update on everything that I've been looking at and what I've been doing there. So hope you enjoyed this. Remember, success can be yours if you go claim it. So step up, take massive action, and face your fears today. I'm not going to BS you here. Trading is hard. Over my 10 years of trading, I've learned some amazing systems and strategies, and I've put it all in my brand new Grab the Markets by the Balls course. And I'm giving you 100% free access. This whole course is 12 videos long and almost 10 hours of the best systems and strategies that I know. Click on the image below now to get 100% free access right now.